My lovely Leos and Leo risings, welcome to your 2025 astrology forecast. So in this little podcast episode, we are going to talk about the major transits of the year and what they mean for you, how they could possibly manifest, what areas are going to be affected for you. And we are going to start with an overview. We have almost every planet involved. We already had Pluto change into Aquarius. So we are not going to talk about Pluto in this podcast, but all the other planets, we will have to have a look at them. Specifically Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Also Venus is a big player, and the nodes are going to change signs again this year. Depending on when you are going to listen to this, they might have already changed signs. It's a big year, I would say, for all of us as a collective and as individuals, because these energy shifts are going to be major, because we are shifting from major earth energy and water into fire and air. I mean, the nodes are going to be in water, right? The nodes shifting into water signs, but the main planets like Saturn, Neptune, and also Uranus, they change from into fire and air. So that is going to be a major shift that we will feel intensely. So there's going to be a big shift in the collective. And that's why I'm also thinking a grounding exercise is going to be very, very, very beneficial. I also think that this change into into fire and air is going to be beneficial for you. However, still, you got to find a way to keep yourself grounded and not blow up, like quite literally, because fire and air can bring explosion. You are easily triggered, and instead of manifesting the energy into something substantial, you go the other way, the other direction, and we want to avoid that. We want you to stay grounded so you can actually utilize this beautiful energy to manifest whatever you want to manifest in your life, right? Now, let's get into it. The nodes are changing from Aries and Libra into Pisces and Virgo. Now, this is going to be an interesting shift for you, because for you, this means the nodes are shifting into your 8th house and 2nd house, obviously. The focus here is going to be intimacy, shared resources, and major transformation, but also the understanding of releasing your limiting beliefs when it comes to, first of all, your innate worthiness. That's the basic, right? That's the foundation. And then also your money beliefs, your limiting money beliefs. They will be on the forefront here. Now, Pisces in your 8th house encourages emotional and financial vulnerability. And you got to release the need to meticulously manage your personal finances, right? That like, okay, it has to be like this, it has to be like that. It can only go here and it can only go there. You got to open yourself up a little bit. You know, your obsession with, and I'm not saying everyone is obsessed with money. Not every Leo rising is obsessed with money. I'm not saying this, but there is this focus on the material. You want to get away from that intense focus on the material. And I'm not saying you are someone that just wants to accumulate money, but the understanding of material gain giving you security. The security is within you. The security is not in the financial gain. It's not in the money you are going to make. Yes, you're going to utilize that money, but you got to understand first that feeling of security has to be there first, right? Often we go through life and we say, okay, if I have this and when I have that and when I'm with this partner and when I make this amount of money, then I will feel safe and secure. And many will never get there. They work away, they work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, they try and work hard, but they will never really fully get there. There's always a lag. That feeling has to be there first. And we've been never taught that. We've been never taught that. Most of us, at least. You know, maybe in your family you've been taught that. I don't know. But most of us in this society, we're not taught that. We're not taught that the feeling has to be there first. Feel it and then you will manifest it, right? We could talk about the law of assumption now. Neville Goddard, beautiful. Like, I really highly recommend you to listen to some of Neville Goddard's talks this year. I think they are what you need to listen to this year to understand that on a deeper level. You being what you want in your life. That's the important part. We never attract and manifest what we want. We always attract and manifest what we are. And if you are stingy, if you are limiting yourself in whatever area, then that is what you're going to attract. You're not going to attract the abundance. If you pay your bills with like, oh, fuck this bill again. Oh, now I have to pay this and that. You're just going to attract more of that, because you're in that feeling. You're feeling a lack. But if you pay your bills with the understanding of, I get to live in this beautiful apartment. I have light. I have heat. Being thankful, grateful. I think that's also something on this particular axis, the Virgo Pisces axis, that we are asked to understand on a deeper level this coming year, the next 18 months. That's how long the nodes are staying in this area. And I think, the 8th house, it is an intense area. It is the area where we have to go down the rabbit hole and maybe pull out all that gunk that is out down there. And we might have thought we can just leave it down there and never look at it, right? It's down in the cellar. Let's not look at it, but it's rotting there. And it is not burning down the house, but it is infecting the house. It is not giving. So we gotta clean it out. Clean it out. Okay? Is there anything else I want to say about this transit? Well, I guess just the growth path here is deepening your emotional connection and embracing. That North Node in Pisces urges us to embrace spirituality, surrender, compassion, and our creative flow. And it calls us to trust the universe and lean into our intuitive knowing and letting go of that rigid control. And the South Node, on the other hand, is highlighting our tendencies to overanalyze, criticize, cling on to those routines. We are making us small. Where are you making yourself still small? That is what we are supposed to learn here. Let's talk really quickly about Mars direct. Mars is still in retrograde until February 24th, stationing direct in Cancer. For you, Mars retrograde forced you to reevaluate your goals, your energy, and your personal expression. Because Mars has been retrograding in or through your sign, right? Through your first house. So reevaluating where you're going, your direction in life, and the way you show up in the world. And you're probably still very much in it, right? Because we're still in the retrograde. As Mars moves through Cancer in its direct motion, right? Not the retrograde, but in its direct motion, I think you will be able to really reconnect to that inner peace and that understanding, because it's your 12th house we are talking about here. So you, I think, will be able to connect with that inner peace and that emotional vulnerability much more. I think also there will be emotional breakthroughs, understanding, and there's going to be an understanding of, oh my God, I've always been in my own way in this area of my life. And there's a breaking free from it. So I think the retrograde was probably a difficult time for you, more difficult than for most other signs because of, Mars touching your 12th house and your first house, the beginning and the end. But again, I think if you've worked through it, if you've allowed yourself to work through it, I think you will be able to connect with yourself on a completely different new level. So the focus here is personal identity and emotional healing. Now, next one, Venus in retrograde. Now, Venus is going to bless us with a little retrograde this year. It is going to start March 1st, ending April 13th. And Venus retrograde is always a relationship reassessment, right? It's your existing relationship might face, I try to avoid the word challenges, but, for lack of a better word, let's call it challenges. And it's prompting us to reevaluate our commitments and our desires. And that does not mean that relationships have to end, right? But there is a next stage, right? There is a next level for the relationship. So you might also revisit past connections, like encountering past lovers or friends. And that offers you an opportunity for closure or renewal. But remember that renewal has to be new, right? The emphasis is on new. You cannot pick up where you left off. If you're trying to pick up where you left off, it's already over. Because the point here is to start on a new level. You both need to meet on a new level. I don't care if it's your lover or your friend. You both need to meet on in an up-leveled state. If you're trying to meet where you were before, I think you're both going back, and you're just gonna repeat a cycle. Maybe that's what you need. I don't know, but I urge you to be really, really mindful here. The two more things I want to say here about this retrograde. There's going to be financial reflection and also self-worth evaluation, like your personal values and your self-esteem may come into focus, and that encourages your inner growth. And I think that is then also what will reflect in your relationships. For you, this particular retrograde will fall into two different areas. It will fall into your 8th house, but it will also fall into your 9th house. So Venus retrograde starts in the 9th house in Aries and then moves into your 8th house. Now, beliefs and long-term vision will come into question, right? You might be surprised about the new vision you want to hold for yourself. You realize that you've been playing really, really small, and you're not there anymore. You want something different now, something bigger maybe. Maybe you want to travel more. Maybe you want to pursue some educational pursuits. Also in the 8th house, you might realize there might be, I think if you are in a relationship, there might be a reevaluation of what you both want together, where you want to go. Also, when it comes to shared resources, maybe you've been playing small. You thought, we want just like a little house. We want this, and there's nothing wrong with a little house. But maybe now you're looking at it again, and you're like, actually, that's not true anymore for me. I want something bigger. I want to live a bigger life. It can also go the other way around, obviously. But you just got to be honest with yourself and your partner, obviously. Then Mercury retrograde, I'm not going to go into this at all. I'm just know that there are going to be 3 Mercury retrogrades. I will have separate videos for this in the coming months. We have a Mars retrograde in March, in July, and in November. Now let's talk about Neptune, because Neptune has a big shift this year. We've been experiencing Neptune in Pisces for ages now. Well, at least it feels like it, right? Neptune has been in Pisces forever, but now we are going to experience a new beginning, quite literally, because Neptune in Pisces was the end, right? The end of an era. Neptune traveling through Pisces was the end of an era, and now we are starting a new one. How is that going to look like for you? I am calling this new era spiritual leadership. It is going to start March 30th in Pisces, in Aries, obviously. So Neptune is going to move into Aries March 30th. And it will retrograde back into Pisces briefly in October, from October to February 2026. And then it settles in Aries fully until March 2039. Yes, my friends, that is a long, long time. Now, Neptune in Aries encourages us to align our spiritual vision with the courageous action, right? You got to find that courageous boldness in you and take those bold actions. And this transit inspires us to also become pioneers, pioneers of faith, pioneers of imagination, and, really leading from that place. But we also got to be mindful, and we also got to be, let's just call it mindful about the impulsive idealism and, unrealistic ventures. And by unrealistic, I am not saying you should not be delusional. I am a proponent of being delusional. And what I mean by delusional is, look outside the box. The box is already made. You're not going to make the box again, or you can just swim in the box. But how about extending the box, creating a new box? When I say to you, beware of unrealistic ventures, I'm just saying, be honest with yourself. What do you truly want? I think we got to really just focus on being honest with ourselves. Sometimes we play small because we think, oh, we can't do that. Or we are stretching ourselves in a way that is not for us because we saw someone else do something and we are like, oh yeah, I can do that so much better. But is that coming from a truth inside of you, or is this just coming from an egoic place where you just want to, trump that person because they, because I don't know, jealousy, envy, whatever, right? Do we come from that place, or do we really come from a truth within us? That is important to keep in mind. Now, for you, the focus is again going to be on higher learning, travel, and spiritual growth. So your 9th house is really, really emphasized this year. With Neptune entering this area, you are drawn to exploring philosophy, spiritual studies, and expansive travel. And this is traveling as in actual traveling, but also in your mind, right? Extending your vision, expanding your vision. This is a time for visionary learning, but avoiding idealizing teachers or doctrines without discernment, right? And that's what I said earlier, right? Don't fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't just follow blindly someone where you think oh, that person, seems like they've got it all together. Well, what about you? Do you've got it all together? Stay true to yourself. So reflect on what truly resonates with your spiritual and intellectual growth. That's what I would say about this transit. Now, next one is Saturn. Saturn is also going to move into this area. And Saturn here is going to push you to commit to expanding your horizons, whether through education or travel or spiritual exploration, or all three of them, right? But it's like a commitment to make here. And this transit can also help you to develop a disciplined approach to pursuing your purpose in life. And what I would say as well is reflect on whether your current path of growth aligns with your deepest belief. And I'm talking about your deepest belief, not someone else's deepest belief. Then Uranus in Gemini. Uranus in Gemini, I think this is my favorite of all of them. I love this transit so much. I'm so excited about it. It is going to occur July 7th, so the ingress into Gemini is July 7th. There's going to be a quick dip back into Taurus in November, from November to February, but really, we will understand really well what Uranus in Gemini has in store for us through this ingress, right? Uranus will stay here until 2032, so quite a while. And I call this transit the evolution of consciousness. We have Uranus, the planet of innovation, rebellion, and breakthroughs, move into the sign associated with communication, intellect, and adaptability. So this will ignite, I would say, a profound shift in how we think, connect, and innovate. And for you, in particular, I would say, well, Uranus lights up your 11th house of friendships and goals. So expect sudden shifts in your social circle. So maybe you're going to move into a completely different social circle, a completely different community. Maybe through marriage, maybe just through meeting people on your travels, right? Because we already talked about it, you're probably going to travel a lot. And your aspirations will also get an upgrade here through shifting in your social circles. And I would say lean into it, lean into group innovations and collaborative projects here. This is a beautiful time. It's a time to rise. And we talked about spiritual leadership before, and I think you could, find a leading role here as well. Now, last but not least, Jupiter moving into Cancer, moving into your 12th house, really connecting you with your spiritual self, right? And again, that brings me to that spiritual leadership. The focus here again is also on emotional healing and letting go of past baggage, right? That leader, you can't really take a leadership role if you just carry around every little thing from the past with you. The letting go is really important. And Jupiter in Cancer is exalted, so I think this is going to be a really beautiful, enlightening transit for you, where you really just, you might have light bulb moments where you go like, why am I still carrying this with me? And you will be able to drop it, right? I don't think it's going to be a very difficult letting go. I mean, of course, when emotions are involved, it is never super easy. But I think these light bulb moments will give you an insight and a trust in your, in yourself. And I think the retrograde that Jupiter will go through is a powerful time to delve into your subconscious and, release those limiting beliefs that are still holding you in the past and that still keep you holding on to whatever you hold on. It might be people, it might be a job, it might be whatever, it could be anything really. So I think this is going to be a beautiful year for you. Very excited for you. So I wish you all the best, abundance, love, health, and beautiful experiences. And if you have any questions about this year, about anything I said, please feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section. Anything else, I'm here for you. I wish you a beautiful 2025, and I will talk to you in the next video.